Hey, Hans from Request for Music here, and I wanted to show you some more of my workflow using Dex and Drawwave. So I'll put Drawwave in here as well. So Drawwave, where is it? So I'll put it in between, and I'll switch off the libraries, so you should have a proper view of everything that's going on. I've got Dex already in there. Is it already? It's not hooked up yet, so poly pitch into the first one, poly gate into the second one, poly velocity into the third one. Output, I'll leave the output out for now first, because I wanted to focus on my draw wave. So if I connect this, then obviously it will not give any sound unless I draw anything in here. So if I do something like this, you already hear what it's doing. Now in this case, so I'll take none, so it returns nothing. What I actually want, for instance, is I want to change or to create a wave that is a combination of a square wave with a couple of sine waves on top. So what I could do is let's first create those sine waves. So I'm going through my list, and that list has expanded the last day or two or so. So you have things like saw with a different starting point, something like this, or something like a pulse wave, which is different. But for now, I want my double sine. I'm going to turn back my volume a bit. I have a double sine, and I want lots and lots more of those sine waves because I want to put them on top of my square wave. So what I'm going to do is go into edit mode, because in edit mode all those knobs and dials and stuff here have indeed influence on the signal. So I'm going to select everything, and first of all I'm going to use my stretch, which is STR here. I'm going to dial this back, so it's going to stretch it back 50%. So it's going to do it like this, and I'm going to stretch it even further because I want more from this. So I get this, and then I'm going to change my edit endpoint to the point where it's going to through the axis, and I'm going to repeat this. So I've got this, and then change this to the next point, so as close as possible, and do another repeat. So I've got something like this. So that's of course a higher frequency, and I want everything to attenuate, and attenuator is at well, it was at 50%. I'm going to put it at about 75%. I'll have a look later. I'll do something like this. Maybe I could do it even a bit more. Now I'm going into my B wave, and I'm going to add a square in there, and I'm going to attenuate that as well. So I'm in the B, and it's still having the full size of this, so I could do another attenuate, something like this, maybe even further. I can change that afterwards, of course. And now I'm going to morph, so I get the wave in between, something like this. And maybe I do want to boost this up a bit, so I'm going to go to something like this, and now I'm getting that kind of wave. So if that's okay with me, and I can try to see which wave I liked best. Maybe just this. This is a bit too high, I guess. So I'll dial something like this up, and I'm going to smooth it to be sure that it has as little artifacts as possible. So going into smooth, going to take my smooth up all the way, and now you see that these very sharp lines are indeed smoothed. And now press on my Dex is bringing me straight into the dedicated Dex Waves folder that has been created. As soon as I do that, I already had files in there, so it didn't need to create that folder again. But what I do want to do is give the file a prefix. I'm going to take this out. Hang on. Where am I? Doesn't want to allow me. to do that, because I'm in the save folder, I need a prefix. I'll dial this back a bit. I need a prefix, and I need the prefix D. Sorry, D, not DX, DW. I was distracted a bit. DW underscore. If I do DW underscore, it knows that I'm going to create a draw wave that Dex will find in the draw category. So I'll name it like, what will I do? Square sine or something. Let's type it correctly. Square sine. And I'll call it number 1 to make sure that I have more space if I needed to. Save it. Now take this out of there and bring my level there up. Okay, so let's now hook this up, Dex, to my output and see if I have sound, and I do. So something like this, and let's take this into my scope here to show it. And I'm also going to take my Dex output into this to show you, because now it obviously is just a sine wave. I'm going to take the mix back so it's not changing the waves by all of that reverb and stuff. And on number 1 operator, I'm going to go into the wave button. So I just click this, it opens up this new screen, and here I have this draw category. So if I select that, the square sine wave should be there. So square sine, I click that, and let's see, this is indeed the only one that is giving sound, my number 1. So you see that it is indeed the same sound as I had. And of course I can do chords with that and all of the other stuff, fun stuff that I have within Dex. So something like this. And maybe actually, and let's just switch off numbers 3 till 6 for now. Maybe I just want this to be a modulator instead of a carrier. So easiest way is just pressing my Alt or Option key together with my Shift key and click in the number area there. You'll see that it's copied, and now if I do an Alt click without the Shift in my number area here, it's going to paste number 1 to number 2. So now both of them are the same, which obviously gives a different effect, because now I'm modulating that wave with the same wave. But instead, maybe I want my number 1 just to be a sine wave, so I only have to switch this back to the first switch position of that wave switch. And let's change the way how the operator 2 is handling its sound by changing the envelope, so to something like this. And actually I want the decay to be effective for the whole sound, so I'm going to do something like this, 3 seconds. And of course, since it's just a complete standard wave to work with, I could do something like this, like change that, and of course change the strength in which it's modulating that number 1 wave, or do a feedback on it. Or maybe want to change it to have a longer attack. And maybe change the algorithm. Let's take a third operator in that stack and maybe copy that same one. Let's see what it does. So I do an Alt Shift, click on the number here, Alt click on the number there, and I'm going to take the frequency up for that. And it's using the same envelope, so I don't want that. I want that shorter again, and something like this maybe. or let's see what it does if it indeed builds up. Maybe already starts at a specific level. So if I take the level of 4 up, it doesn't show that here, but it does show it in the original smaller envelope. So it's starting at that higher level and then goes down to this level and then uses the other settings. And of course it's getting a bit noisy because of the sword sound that it is. I should probably not modulate that deep here. But so you see, it's pretty easy to create any wave from draw wave, send it straight over, or not straight over, but at least export it from draw wave and open it from decks straight into the operator, where you can do all the normal stuff that you could do with just sine waves and such. So I hope you like that, and I'll see you back in the next video. So cheers for now. Bye bye.